If you want to have your essay written, you go back to your essay GPT and say, I need an essay written. And so Cintra has programmed 12 agents, very specific, like GPTs.
Okay.
So for example, Soshi, the social media agent,
Oh,
Pen is the copywriter.
ah,
And so it's cute. They're little like alien guys running around your screen. And what's really cool though, it's not just a passive, it's not just a passive brain. You don't just tell it what you need and then it regurgitates things back. These agents are actually proactively coming up with ideas like a team member.
mm-hmm.
So for example, I signed up, I filled in the AI brain. It starts to ask you some onboarding questions, pretty simple. I uploaded the EXP logo, put my face in there, spelled my name correctly, put in my address, just some of the basics.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes here with Real Estate Riches, and today I have a guest from Portugal, Shane Dunann, and I'm very excited to have him here because we are business partners together. Hey buddy.
Hey, buddy, good to be here. Nice to see you again.
You too. It's funny, have we even met in person? I don't think we have.
We actually got it. We got the pleasure to meet at Lisa's event, the luxury event
The
where, yeah,
luxury event.
mhm,
Yes, which
in
is great.
Lisbon.
And that's coming up in France, Paris, in July. She's doing another luxury event, which is great. So, anyway, let's start talking a little bit about you. Give us a little background. You're an expat over there in Portugal. Have you lived there 2 years now?
It'll be 4 years in July.
Wow. Oh,
Yes, I grew up outside of Seattle.
okay.
I moved around a ton, went to three universities,
Mm,
and then after I graduated, moved to Australia. So I just kept going until I finally settled in Germany,
mm.
where I lived 13 years.
Wow.
And I finally started missing the sunshine to the point that I had to move to Portugal. I made the move, yeah, 3.5 years ago
Wow,
after a
that's,
very short stint in New York.
oh, that would be short for me too. I've only been there in 1969 for Woodstock, so that's another story.
Cool. My mom was there.
Oh, we could have run into each other the 100,000 or so. Anyway, this is great. So let's start talking about business as a realtor. Did you do real estate in these other countries or primarily here in Portugal?
Only in Portugal.
Okay.
So it was my experience as a buyer
Ah,
that prompted me to get into the industry. And it was a challenging experience. So I had the privilege, the pleasure to look for a piece of land
mm,
and or some sort of a farmhouse or something. So my business partner and I could begin a creative music-centric project.
mm.
And we decided to actually pay me as a house hunter. And I searched for 6 months, full time,
Wow.
every day, just getting in the car and driving around Portugal, driving around the Silver Coast area and understanding where we'd like to be. And I saw more pieces of land than I can remember, and I worked with more agents than I can remember. And I found the process to be so challenging, not only as an expat speaking a different language and having the different language and terminologies and all of the things that we wouldn't know as an American, of course. It was also just a really misleading, tricky experience. And I noticed after I was being taken to places that weren't properly licensed, or one thing would be said in the listing description that wouldn't be there when I would arrive. And I started to just feel like, wow, this is actually not that much fun because I'm running into a lot of pitfalls and I'm not really sure if I can trust what I'm seeing or who I'm talking to. And so that I thought we can do this better. Let's go for customer service. I come from a history of high-end hospitality. I felt that with such a life decision, it should be accompanied by extreme honesty and customer service.
Yes. We all, if you live in the States, you assume that everything's done in every country the same way, naively. And so there's not, you don't have to be licensed in Portugal, which is a red flag for me because that means you could be a plumber one day and a realtor the next day with
Or
no
both.
training. nothing, and it happens. And so that was something I learned early on is that wanted to vet lots of agents before I was going to partner with them. And
Hmm.
I didn't know that right off the bat. And then I was talking to a mutual friend of ours who had a firm there, and she said it's very difficult to even get pricing of what things sold for. So to be able to even comp the property is challenging. So if it's difficult for a seasoned agent to comp the property, it's certainly difficult for an individual to comp it. And also they don't necessarily do inspections. And the permitting process is very different. I was thinking, man, that's tricky to do business over there. And yet it's coveted. Americans want to buy there. A lot of
Absolutely.
people from Great Britain want to move there. And like you said, the Silver Coast. Is that the Algarve or just the coastline of Portugal?
So the Silver Coast is starting just north of Sintra, and
Okay.
it goes essentially, it really goes all the way up to Porto. But for our intents and purposes in real estate, it's a section between Sintra and Peniche.
Niche, which is where all the big waves are.
Yes,
Okay, good. So
exactly.
as someone who definitely didn't study her geography, that was foreign to me. So, anyway, what's great about this though is that you have honed in this skill. You've been successful there. You work with luxury properties and also investors. So, tell us some a success story of, let's say, an expat. Do you have any buyers from the States that have bought with you over there?
I have buyers that are looking right now here in Ericeira, where I'm living.
Okay.
Inventory is a challenge at the moment in this particular region.
Mm-hmm.
The last house I sold to was actually to a Spanish person, a
Yep.
Spanish couple.
Yes. That's also, they're so close to each other. That happens a lot. Portugal buys in Spain, vice versa.
Yeah, and also just even differently coming over to Portugal, we were standing at the show house and we were looking out at the view together, and I was standing between the couple, and they were just talking about how they were just admiring the sea view and the golf course and just saying that is not it's not attainable for that kind of price in Spain.
Oh,
And then for them being Spaniards where it's very much warmer, they were here in with a cool Atlantic breeze, and they were just like, "Oh, this is great." And so for them it was just the perfect
it's
place.
paradise. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's a good point about pricing in Portugal and the expenses. It's a whole different ballgame. There are certainly multi-million dollar properties on up. However, what you get your bang for your buck is pretty impressive over there.
absolutely. When at purchase date, bang for your buck, and then of course appreciation potential
Hmm.
because like the Silver Coast, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
You can compare the beauty of a golf course and a condominium to a place on the west coast of the States where you can't go less than millions to get
Millions.
the same type of property.
Wow.
Yeah,
And but you get the California style weather, I hear.
right.
Yeah, I'm
And the
very
people.
jealous right now because it's 39 degrees here. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Oh, that's Fahrenheit. I don't know what it is in Celsius.
Oh, that's probably we're getting down there. That's probably like four. Uh,
Okay, it's cold.
yeah.
I'm not happy
Mhm.
with it at all because I thought I moved to the south.
Come on over.
Yeah. Let's talk about another fascination you and I have is AI because we're marketing and you're trying to reach your clients, and this is an important piece as well. You discovered a software where it already had built-in AI agents. Want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I just started using Cintra.ai. Funny
Spelled?
coincidence, living next to Cintra here.
Yes.
So Cintra.ai.
Okay.
I learned about them probably a year ago, and I was a little bit hesitant to start. It was really expensive, and I couldn't find any solid reviews. And sure enough, Black Friday, I got an ad popping up on Instagram, and I thought maybe it's time to pull the trigger. I started to see some really good feedback,
Hmm.
and so everybody, okay, let's not be presumptuous. A lot of people already work with ChatGPT.
Yep. Me.
Inside of ChatGPT, you're familiar with this. You can program specific GPTs, little
Yep.
brains, to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
So if you want to have your essay written, you go back to your essay GPT and say, I need an essay written, and So Cintra has programmed 12 agents, very specific, like GPTs.
Okay.
So for example, Soshi, the social media agent,
Oh,
Pen is the copywriter.
ah,
And so it's cute. They're little like alien guys running around your screen. And what's really cool though, it's not just a passive, it's not just a passive brain. You don't just tell it what you need and then it regurgitates things back. These agents are actually proactively coming up with ideas like a team member. For example, I signed up, I filled in the AI brain. It starts to ask you some onboarding questions, pretty simple. I uploaded the EXP logo, put my face in there, spelled my name correctly, put in my address, just some of the basics. I think I might have even referred the EXP like a video or a link to our homepage. I
more
said,
data.
go look at the revenue sharing, understand it. This is what I do. And then the brain of all the 12 agents knows Shane and real estate, Portugal,
Okay.
Silver Coast, luxury, all of it. And so the next day after I signed up, I opened Cintra and in my inbox were 12 posts in the calendar already written by Soshi, waiting for me to approve them with artwork. And I have to say, minor tweaks. I had to do minor edits because the way that she's programmed to write is really, she nails it. It's like, and I didn't work with her yet. ChatGPT is amazing, but it takes some time for it to learn.
Yeah.
And I thought she was pretty incredible out of the box.
Ah,
Not to mention, the business development agent had, hey, Shane, would you like me to come up with a proposal for you of how to get in touch with this Swiss group of people that are looking into D7 and D2 visas? And I said, sure. And bam, a document written, first email, the follow-up email, the companies to reach out to. It was like having a person here with me.
wow. That's it.
Pretty mind-blowing. So I've already upped my productivity in a way that I'm not going from GPT to Gemini to Canva to and this runaround. Now it's all starting to go just into Cintra, and it's starting to feel like I'm in control a bit
Wow.
more.
That's
Yeah,
big, Shane, because I am that person bouncing from all these different platforms, especially if you're frustrated. Like sometimes I get very frustrated with ChatGPT lying to me that it understands a program and it doesn't, yet it will act like it does. And we go in circles for what feels like 1400 years. And
sure.
then, so then I just stop after I've yelled at it and done a few other things. And I go over to like Gemini and I say, it was about Facebook for one. I said, can Facebook even do this? And it goes, no, it can't. I go, ah. And I'd been beating my head against the wall with ChatGPT.
Right.
And I have the paid for version. And I'm thinking, surely, and I know how to work ChatGPT, but if it does lie to you, and that's a big factor. So it feels like that these are really honed in. And so when that one did all those posts for you, did you say go do it or did it just do it?
The first day it was just done. It was up, it was completely proactive. Then comes the sort of the teaching lesson moment where then I have to say, look, I don't want to talk about my team yet. It was a good idea. And she had put pictures of random people that isn't my
Oh,
team. There were some things that I had to just say, no, decline, we'll do that later.
okay.
I did get the runaround a few times on a couple of topics. But what's really fascinating with these agents is that they have interoperability. So when I was going in circles with one of them, I actually had the other one talk to the one I was having a problem with,
Wow.
and they were able to work out the solution. And so I started to learn these workarounds, and then all of a sudden, again, then it just starts to nail it again. And so, yeah, there's these moments of, oh, we need some coaching and we need
Well, and that
some
makes sense.
molding.
Even
Yeah,
if it was an employee, you would need some coaching, of course. Even if they were brilliant, they still got to get to know you, they got to get to know your business and all of that. Wow. So I just did a thing where for ChatGPT, but really for all large language models, where I had it ask me 25 to 30 questions. I spoke it back in, so it's got my tonality, all of that,
Yep.
and we turned it into a PDF that could be uploaded to any large language model. And so it's in all my projects over in ChatGPT. You know how you can have projects within Chat?
The folders. Yeah.
On the bar that you normally type into, there's an extra little spot that says add file. And I learned that's where you put that PDF. So now it knows it
Okay.
for the whole project. And then you're in there working, let's say I'm working on a project on YouTube right now. So I uploaded that PDF so it knows all about my business, my goals, who I am, my beliefs, my core, all that stuff. And but that is in the brain now of that project. And I can do multiple things that are on the same topic within it, but it'll all be centered around that PDF of all the answers to who I am. So it really knows me in and out.
Yep.
I'd be curious to know if you could take a PDF format like that and put it into Cintra.
You can. It's essentially, have you tried Notebook LM at all
I haven't
yet?
done it yet, but I know you're excited about it, and I want to talk about that too.
Another thing that's, yeah, we should also touch on that it's a similar process. So the brain, the AI brain is essentially just like a whiteboard, and you
Hmm.
just throw in whatever it is that you want in there. So it could be
So,
video, it could be a PDF, it could be your picture, and it could be I just also type text and say, hey, this is my name, this is my signature, keep it at that, stuff like that.
will it remember it like in ChatGPT? If you put it in just the regular chats, it's all over here on the side in a series of chats that it doesn't remember that history. That's why I do the projects. So in Notebook LM, will it, as a general whole, remember all the conversations or no?
In Cintra, as you fill the brain, that is a general
Okay,
brain, and it will remember every agent you talk to knows exactly where to refer to.
love that.
Notebook LM, from my experience so far, is each when you start a new notebook, then you throw things in that book. So it's
Okay,
more like your projects.
gotcha, gotcha.
So project specific brains.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're starting to look more in harmony where they recognize all these developers of this that they need to have a consolidated spot to be able to gather information to make it as efficient as possible for the user. And so how do you see what are some of the other little ones that you've got in there? How do you see that progressing in Centra?
Well, I think the business development one is actually really interesting because this little guy is actually coming up with things that I hadn't come up with yet. Going down that rabbit hole is going to be pretty cool. I needed a web page, a landing page for my most recent listing. Just wanted to present it a little bit differently, have full control. So I just said to the web developer, designer, I forgot the name, I took the link from my EXP directly from the EXP Portugal website. That's the link to my listing.
Uh-huh.
I dropped it into the designer and I said, could you please make a landing page out of this? So 1 minute later, I had a beautiful landing page with a working contact form. I tested it. Sure enough, I got the email, went right into my box. It only chose external photos. So this is a complete text to design. And so I just go back to the conversation and say, could you please use indoor photos too?
Mm,
And it sure enough changes some things around and now it's a nice diverse photo collection. So seeing that actually function, incredible how
yeah.
quickly with the functional contact page,
Mhm.
because I have used a number of other products and services that it looks cool, but then when you try to use it, there's a lot more steps
Ah,
or pay, or then it's premium,
right.
or you have to log into somewhere that you don't really need to get your leads, and then it's another place. And so things
Yeah.
start to get a little
This
bit.
is very simplified. Is that the one you sent me through WhatsApp? Is that the landing page?
I did send you that, yeah.
Yes, I was blown away with that. That's what led to our conversation about this.
Right, exactly.
And that's been teasing me because that discounted price is still on. I'm probably going to sign up.
Yeah, Black Friday, Black Weekend.
Yeah.
And yesterday I came across a UAE, I think it's Dubai based, They're a relocation company
Yes.
and they focus on D2, D7, and golden visas for high net worth individuals coming out of Dubai that want to move to Portugal.
Wow.
Of course, what a good partner. I'd love to help them find their homes and introduce them to legal people, whoever they need to help with the relocation. So, of course, I need an email out for the outreach. So I go to Penn, who is the copywriter of
Mhm.
my Cintra agents, and I drop in the website of Baker& Co., the Dubai-based relocation site. It says, okay, I'm scraping the website. Cool, thanks. And then I say, they're a perfect partner for me. Could you just craft me that mail so I can reach out? Sure enough, just pretty much perfect, just like how I'd want to sound.
Yes.
So I just added their first name, more or less. And then even a follow-up mail was
Did it
was
give
ready.
you
So
on the website, did it have names of people to contact and emails?
I believe the contact information is in there. So I didn't have Penn use it. I just copied pasted and then sent the
Gotcha.
email to the
Let-
contact. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What are these D3s or things that you're talking about?
Those are different types of visas
Okay.
for Portugal. The D2 is what I'm on.
Uh-huh.
That's for independent workers, independent contractors, or entrepreneurs. I imagine that things are changing a little bit, becoming a little bit more strict at the moment for
Mhm.
people like me as an agent. I actually wonder if I could get the same visa if I applied today, just
Mm.
because of the immigration changes that they've been making.
Sure. And most
The-
countries are making some changes. So I was talking to a gal in France yesterday, and she has a very high-end piece of property that's coming on available, but it's not on the market. That's another thing I want to come back to. Let's talk about. And anyway, she said if they even if a series of people invested into that 120 million. No, this was 30 million on this one. Even if a series of people invested into it because it's an Airbnb, all of them, if their investment was over 300,000 per person, a minimum, that each one of them would be eligible for some sort of type of visa that they have there,
Mhm.
which was good throughout parts of Europe, it sounds. And is this one something if they were to do with you that they would have that same like a D2, whatever that is?
An investment device would be more, that's typically wrapped up inside of a golden visa in
Okay.
Portugal.
Okay.
They have stopped the property-based golden visas. So before, for a
Mm.
long time, a buyer could just come and spend 500,000 euros or more. And with that investment, they'd receive a golden visa after probably a couple of years.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't the quickest visa, but it was an easy one.
Mm.
And then the requirements to be here were like 24 hours a year or something
Wow.
silly. So it was very simple for people to get their visa. Now they've stopped the ability to do this through a €500,000 investment into real estate. So what's happening instead, companies are buying buildings and then setting up an investment mechanism so you can still invest into a certain type of business. So you're a business investor. And
Mm.
with that, they're offering golden visas. We can call it a clever loophole for the time being, and the cost is actually less than the golden visa that before. I think it's 280,000
Wow.
minimum investment. So it sounds a little bit like that, what you were saying from the
Yeah.
woman in France. People can go in on a company that owns the asset.
And I think that's what that they had formed a company and then there were investors within the company who had pieced in for the price of whatever that Airbnb
Right.
was going for.
Right.
So can it be an existing business that they or like a hotel, they just buy over a hotel and the management stays on, something like that?
That's the last person that I spoke to doing this was actually telling me about a hotel.
Okay.
There was another one that was a co-working space.
Oh, ooh, smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. What would you say is your favorite thing about living in Portugal?
For me, peace, I think it's stress-free.
that a lot.
in my day-to-day work, and being part of an unregulated real estate market is not completely stress-free. But my day-to-day is very stress-free. And I like the beauty, I think, trumps it all, just tops everything, just to stress-free. Just
Yeah,
really, when I go into the other rat races of other places, I really feel it now.
yeah. And so you're newer to EXP, so you came over to EXP. I know you were with a boutique firm before. And as with any company in the beginning, because EXP is newer in Portugal, there's always bumps in the road. But I got into EXP in 2017 when there were only 3,200 agents there. And there were bumps in the road in the beginning. And we're expanding into so many countries, and each country has so many different nuances. What I do love, though, is that EXP just doesn't take anyone. They want training, they give incredible tools and support. And that's how I am a co-sponsor for you. You have a local boots on the ground sponsor right there to help you with
Yep.
everything Portugal, because as you can tell, I clearly don't know in depth about Portugal, but I know the States, I know AI, you and I really sync on that. And so there's a collaboration that can happen. And EXP is growing its agents all over the world right now. And just like you've got on their investments in Portugal and luxury homes, and you've already talked about Dubai, and you probably have connections in Germany. I don't believe are we in Germany? I'm not positive.
Yes.
We are in Germany. Okay.
100%.
So you've got connections internationally, and we're definitely in Australia. So there's different places that you could reach out to people that you know, but you don't have to be the boots on the ground. That's the beauty of this co-sponsor thing that we've got here.
Hmm.
I love the opportunity with that. And but I love how EXP is such a tech company. And even when the tech is struggling to get off the ground for the whole company, as far as different things, because it's a new scenario. They're reinventing the wheel in these different countries of how properties can be exposed. And also, the sellers are in these countries are not used to the type of marketing that EXP can do. So they're a little less receptive to a lot of it. And you also don't get exclusivity to the level that we get exclusivity in the States, which would just drive me a little crazy. You want to touch on that?
Yeah. First, people are definitely, it's a country deeply rooted in history. America has, this is one thing that I learn about being an American who's lived overseas for most of my life at this point, is we have, as Americans, the privilege of not being stuck in our ways. We
Mm,
don't have the long history, and we have a very open-minded culture. I think that helps us move and be more chameleons in business, and we're very much more open-minded for change. And in Portugal, the a lot of the people that we want to sell with are definitely over 50. They appreciate having an office to walk into
mm,
because that's what they know. It's comfy.
mhm.
Totally understand them. But then on the other side, there's all of these opportunities that we can have as agents and promotions, and money goes into marketing and a lot more tools to actually help the seller
Yeah,
than having a place to meet.
yes,
That's one of the things that you touched on. Exclusivity. I think it's a product of this unregulated market. So what happens is just like you said, there's someone that's a plumber but can also be a realtor because there's no barrier to entry.
right.
And so then they actually get a listing, but the owner knows that they're also a plumber. They're not putting their full attention on this. So they go out and get another agent. So this mentality is more agents are going to spread this house to more places. Then we have no MLS.
Yeah,
So nothing's really connected in that way. And so that also creates this fear of if I only work with one agent, it's not going to get the visibility. And what we are working on, educating them on is this is a problem of attention and focus of these agents because of a lack of exclusivity.
yes.
If you give me your house or building or whatever your project to sell, and it's only going to be mine, and I have complete control over the description and the pictures and the quality, I'm going to put a lot of effort into it.
Yes.
And a lot of people aren't because it's scattered. And
Yeah.
then there'll be a price that will drop. One agency will just decide to try to get some more leads and they'll drop the price. And there's three other agencies left at the original price. And then the disparities start to come, discrepancies. And then that's where I think we ought to really start getting into more exclusivity.
Yeah. And I think and it'll come. A friend
And
of ours,
it is
yes,
coming.
it's
Yeah.
evolving because I think more expats are moving in
Also.
saying, here's what we got to do. A friend of ours, Josh, he got a listing and he told his seller, who very ingrained in what they were used to doing, I want to do an open house. And they were like, no, I don't want to do an open house.
Oh,
And
last week.
did he do one last week? Because he did one before and he sold it that weekend, had three offers and blew the seller away. And
He had
that's,
8 offers
oh my
on his
gosh.
last open house.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what, to not do this is crazy. And, but you got to get past the seller to feel comfortable with it. But it takes people doing things like this where you get a seller brave enough. I don't even know if he had exclusivity or not. But the fact that he was bold enough to do it anyway, his name will start to get out there because of that. And
Mhm.
like I know you've run into situations where the seller doesn't want you to put it out on the internet, but sell it and I got to move it quick. And okay, that's tricky. It's like you got to have a whole pocket full of buyers that want that specific product. That's why it works with being able to market it over here to someone in the States where we might find somebody that's interested in that property because then it's not
Mhm.
necessarily on the internet that he's going to see it or other agents. And that's what other agents are afraid of. If I market it on the internet, then other agents are going to see it, find the buyer, and they're going to swoop in and sell it on me. The competition factor is intense. Very.
And from our experience, it still happens a lot. People are pretty private. Our first EXP based client facing meetup this Monday, just a couple days ago. And it was good. We had eight people come, 8 expats showed up, 7 of them already homeowners here. They were just coming to understand what's going on, and they wanted to give us some feedback. And they were talking about their experience. This couple from South Africa were talking about their experience. They saw before they bought this, they're about 15 minutes from where I live. They saw 52 homes.
Oh my God.
It took them 52 homes to find their actual home. And they were explaining the process. And a lot of the times, what would happen is if they were represented by an agent and they called, hey, I have these 2 clients, we'd like to come see the house. That agent would then, this is my lip, and do everything they could to make that viewing not happen.
Oh my gosh.
Because the fear of sharing the commission, so that is my point, is that this is the clients know. It slows down the process. And so this privacy swooping in, it comes from worry. It comes from a place of fear that the other colleagues are going to do these things. And so, yeah, we're hoping to also help change that. I'd like to share. I'd
Yeah.
much rather have 2% today and then 2% again later than
Right.
just waiting around for my full commission.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And I think that's the more, so that was a bunch of agents that got together to brainstorm, right?
This was client facing. So it
Oh,
was three
client
agents,
facing.
the 3 hosts, and then we had, yeah, like I think 8 expats showed up just to
Oh,
talk
great.
about their houses.
And I think it's important to connect with different agents in the area that are not with EXP and basically say, let's come together as a team here, even though we're not a team and we're with different companies or by ourselves. Let's see how we could work together to accomplish the goal and we all win. And
Absolutely.
however, a lot of those agents are old school too, so they've got an old school mentality to kind of shift their thinking.
Right.
Yeah. It's all going to be solvable because I believe in you, Shane.
Thank you very much. I think what's really fascinating, I forgot to say this before when you were talking about EXP. This is really important, I think, for people to hear, at least if any agents decide to, are watching this right now, is about mindset.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are bumps in the road because it's new and it's tech and it's international. And so not everything is smooth, but that's fine because it will be. It's what happened to the way that I think about business since I joined EXP. Because having all of these tools inspires using them. Having trainings around them so we have an understanding makes it really fun because then we become more powerful.
Right.
But not only that, if you start thinking about, oh, I could create a team, I could recruit, I could also recruit non-agents that are part of the industry to
Hmm.
create a bigger network. And what we want here is to create the most possible, the best, highest trust
Yes.
group so we can present to expats here. We have the lawyers, we have the designers, we have the builders, everything
Yes.
trustworthy people here. And then start thinking about just thinking bigger.
Yes.
And so I
Boy.
have ideas now, and I'm talking to people now about things that I was just thinking about listing houses. I
Yes.
was, where can I get my next house? Where do I find the buyers? And now I'm thinking about builders, and I'm thinking, just had a financial meeting yesterday about leveraging, leveraging your assets and not selling to get your new house, but to keep your house and borrow
Hmm.
against it. And so now these tools, my tool set is just,
Yes.
it's been really
You,
exploding.
I love that, Jane, because it's so true. And the first convention I went to was in Lisbon 2 years ago, I think, 2 years ago. And they started out the whole convention with, you got to start thinking bigger, people. And I thought, man, I always thought I thought big, but man, is my
That's what
mind
I thought.
exploding. Yeah. And it was really, it has really changed. And especially getting involved with me with the international, man, have I started thinking bigger. And because tech has made our world smaller. So we can be more connected. We can learn faster and be empowered so much easier and collaborate, which is a really key component of EXP. The collaboration is incredible. The training's incredible. And the fact that it's a meta company, meaning all in the cloud, there are very few offices, and the only reason they are is they're mandated in different countries to have at least a basic office. But I don't
Hmm.
even know that you walk into them. The ones around here that we've had are post office boxes.
Right, it's an address.
Just to have an address. And because we don't need them, we can meet in the client's house, especially if they're a seller. You want to meet in their house, you want to see the house, get to talk. And if they're a buyer, we can meet in a coffee shop. It's fine. Or you can get the shared workspace where you get a place that you have. And those region are all around the United States. I know they're internationally too. So you can get a small little spot there where you can meet your clients if that's the mindset they need. The truth is, everything is fixable. We can figure it all out. And I just think that EXP just offers so many opportunities, and especially for the agents that are coming on board in their 40s, 50s. Many pick up real estate in that age range. See, I was 55, 56 when I got my license, and the how do you build your end game starting at feels like toward the end of your lifespan.
Right.
And you better be able to do it quick. There's nothing like EXP to really do it with the rev share and the stock. And because of the collaboration, because of the global, that's what's in so inviting and empowering and what keeps me around.
Very much. That was a big reason why I wanted to join. The boutique agency has its upsides because of a great image and nice people, but we didn't have a lot of reach. If I needed I could call my colleagues Lisbon based, a
Mhm.
couple in Porto, and that was it. And
Yes.
now I have 30 other countries of agents that I can contact. I had a really lovely call with a person from Holland, and he's moved over. He lives down in the just below Lisbon, just south of Lisbon. We were having a little bit of an attraction call on accident. I was telling him about EXP, and then of course he was like, could we talk a little bit more about that? And so I was explaining some numbers, and then the next day they opened the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So I could then call, I could call him back. I did. And I said, check this out. You used to be an agent in the Netherlands.
Oh my goodness.
Now you can call all of those friends that you already worked with and explain the brand new EXP model to them, and you can start attracting agents back in your hometown from Caparica here in Portugal, where you're sitting. So talk about network.
And for me, when I talk to somebody about this company, it's a gift. I know it's a gift. Now, not everybody wants the gift or will even take advantage of the gift. But in
Hmm.
my heart, when I'm talking to you, this is heaven on earth. It's a gift like crazy. If you want to take it, if you don't, I don't, I'm not pushing anybody into this because they won't stay. But also, I know it's such a gift, but they have to want to be able to dig in and learn and grow because it's different. It's very different. It's powerful. All right. This has been great, Shane. I just loved having you on here. I love our banter back and forth all the time anyway. We're always brainstorming together, which is
Yes,
fun.
we are.
And so thanks for being on here. Any last tips you want to share?
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Kathy. Always good to see you.
You too, buddy.
You're going to come out to see us, right?
I'm
Soon?
hoping at the end of January that I've been asked to speak out there.
Okay.
I'm excited.
That's
All
great.
right.
Cool.
That's it, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. And please be sure and check out all Shane's information. Everything will be there for you so you can reach out to him. And he is a very good source in your Portugal area. What was the name of your town?
Ericeira,
And
the surf, Ericeira, the
it,
surf capital of Europe.
there you go.
So 40 minutes north of Lisbon.
Oh, wonderful. So that's it. We'll have all that information there for you. So check them out and feel free to talk to either one of us about EXP. We'd love to share it. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Riches with me, Kathy Byrnes. If you'd like to explore potential partnership with me at EXP Realty, then let's book a strategy call and see how it would look in your eyes. And if you're thinking, man, I'd like to have a conversation with Kathy Byrnes. Maybe I'd like to be part of this EXP company and see what it's all about. That sounds good to me. Let's book a strategy call and let's have a talk. No pressure, but man, it's worth a conversation. The link's in the description.